Hello, spider friends. We're doing another Spooktober review. I'm doing it in a different location because I'm out of data and I'm having to use Wi-Fi. Oh my god. It's not my house though because it's actually working, like the Wi-Fi at my house. Anyway, I have watched 4 movies that I wanted to share with you. So 2 to skip, 2 to see, because helping you with your Halloween movie choices makes me happy because we've only got so much time on Halloween and you want to make sure that you're going to be watching an actual decent horror movie. So we're going to do this the poop sandwich method, which is bad movie, good movies, bad movie. Oh no, wait, it's the other way around, isn't it? I got confused. Yes, sorry, good movie, bad movie's good movie. That's a poop sandwich. I was going to do a reverse poop sandwich there. That would have been terrible. So, first movie I want to talk about is a movie called Bite. And this I picked up, these are all movies I picked up on iTunes in the Halloween sale. They were like £2, £3, so very, very cheap movies. Bite was very interesting. Actually, I'll just, it's a 2015 movie, this one. The lead actress in it, Elma Begovic, she deserves a stabby, which is like a horror Oscar because she was excellent. She was really, really good. It's about a group of girls who go on like a hen party weekend, and the main girl, Casey, is bitten by something and it slowly starts to change. It's very like The Fly, like David Cronenberg-esque. The effects are really good. The acting's really good. They mix in a little bit of found footage, but it works within the narrative. It is a traditionally filmed movie, but the found footage bits that are inserted are used very well. So if you're not a found footage fan, give it a chance anyway. Like I am a found footage fan, and I liked it, but I'm a fan. But I know why some people dislike the genre, but I think the way that they used it in this particular movie was very effective. So I highly, highly recommend this movie. If particularly if you're into sort of like body horror. It's like I said, it's very much The Fly, David Cronenberg. It's very like it's like a spiritual successor in a way. So if that is your thing, Bite, Bite. Remember that name. Get it on iTunes pretty cheaply now. And if you're not sure, I'm sure you can rent it. But to be honest, just buying it is like £1 extra. So why wouldn't you just buy it? That would be my argument. To the poop filling. To the poop filling. The first one I have to tell you about is a movie called Seven Below. This movie came out in 2012, and again I picked it up for a couple of pounds. Seven Below stars Val Kilmer, Ving Rhames, and Luke Goss. Right, Luke Goss, formerly of Bros, is a very, very, very handsome man, particularly in Guillermo del Toro movies. I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan. And Luke Goss was like the hybrid vampire in Blade 2, and he was so handsome. And he was also the elfin prince in Hellboy 2. So he tends to be in Guillermo del Toro sequels. It's a shame Guillermo never did Pacific Rim 2 because I'm sure Luke Goss would have been in that and been very handsome. Anyway, this is about a bunch of people who get sort of stuck in a storm and brought into Ving Rhames's house, except Ving Rhames is a ghost. This is a murder house, and they're all reincarnations of people what died there 100 years before, and they were going to go on a skiing holiday, and somehow they've all ended up back at the house, and there's lots of murders done again. Like, it's very odd. Val Kilmer is essentially playing two completely different characters. Like the character that he's playing is one character, but he plays them in two completely different ways, and it's very strange. Ving Rhames I love. He's no Michael Clark Duncan, but like I do love Ving Rhames, and particularly on horror movies. So this was a big letdown for me because loved him in Dawn of the Dead, loved him in Piranha 3D. He was literally the only good thing about Piranha 3 Double D. The less that's said about that, the better. Anyway, it's like the description of the movie is it's The Ring meets The Grudge. It's not, because it's not interesting, and it's not anything like The Ring, and it's really not anything like The Grudge. It's more like a lame haunted house movie. Yeah, but dull. And like Ving Rhames is like a ghost. Um, Spoilers for a terrible movie that you shouldn't even bother watching. Like he's like a ghost, but he's also like death. It it's a weird movie. I didn't enjoy it, and it was a bit all over the place narrative wise. Um, I would skip this one. I would skip this one unless you are really, really into poorly written haunted house movies. Yeah, that would be my advice. Now, the next one was very nearly a good movie recommendation. This is the movie Redwood. This is it. It was released in 2017 or 2017, which is probably a better way of saying it. Now, Khan is in this very briefly, who I know from the TV show Gallivant. And if you've not seen Gallivant, my friend introduced me to Gallivant, and it's absolutely brilliant. And if you're a fan of musicals and you like Alan Menken and you've not heard of this, then you need to watch it immediately. Unfortunately, it's not available to watch by legal means, but that's why the Pirate Bay was invented. But yeah, Gallivant, highly recommend it. Khan is in it. And when I saw him, I was like, it's that guy. It's that guy who was in Gallivant. I know him from things. And it also has Nicholas Brendon in it from Buffy fame, which is interesting because this turns out to be a vampire movie. Sort of. So it's about a couple, Josh and Beth, and they're going on a hiking holiday up a mountain. I can't think of anything worse, to be honest, than going on a hiking holiday up a mountain that's going to take several days to go up a mountain and then several days to come back down a mountain. But that's just me. I like having a toilet and Wi-Fi. Anyway, I was enjoying this movie up until a certain point. That was basically up until the point where the vampires turned up, because they're not so much vampires as they are extras who are covered in muck and dirt and not really filmed properly, and so you don't really see them. And I know sometimes less is more, and if you can't do a good effect, don't show them. But then, like, if you're doing a vampire movie, the fangs are pretty much a thing, unless you're talking about Twilight, but that's a that's something for another day. Anyway, yeah, so Josh and Beth go up a mountain, and they meet a ranger who's played by Xander Lavelle Harris, Nicholas Brendon, and he tells them, don't go to this mausoleum. I know what you're doing up this mountain. You're going to go to a mausoleum because you are deathly ill, and this mausoleum has a miracle cure. Well, I'm telling you, the miracle cure doesn't work. So don't go to the mausoleum. Don't stray off the path. Don't stray off the path. Keep on the path. So obviously they go off the path, because people in horror movies are idiots. But it was very reminiscent of like Pet Sematary, the original Pet Sematary with Herman Munster. You know, like I know what you're thinking. The Indians knew it. The ground went sour. It was very close to that whole, like, I'm sure my impersonation is closer to the South Park one than the actual movie. But yeah. Anyway, so Josh, the non-experienced hiker, decides he's going to read the map and he's going to lead his girlfriend off the path. And then they go through the woods, and lo and behold, vampires attack. and like they get through and they go to they find the cabin where like one of the rangers had been like torn apart, and they fight the vampires, and then Josh stabs Beth in the neck with a needle, Dexter style, takes her to the mausoleum, and then reveals that he knew about this mysterious mausoleum the whole time, and it was always his intent to go, and that he was going there to kill his girlfriend so that he could live. Because if you kill someone you love at the mausoleum, then you get your cancer cured, and he has cancer. So he does. So the conclusion of the movie is that you watch this horror movie pleb who normally gets killed and the girl survives, right? Kill his faithful, loving girlfriend in a mausoleum so that he can cure his cancer, because his life is more valuable than hers, and then she becomes a vampire at the end. And I know I just ruined the entire plot for you, but it angered me. It angered me so much that they did like a sort of bait and switch, and he faces no consequences. Because Nicholas Brandon, the vampire hunting ranger, sees him doing this. He sees him kill his girlfriend, and his girlfriend turns into a vampire, and he has the opportunity to take Josh out, and he doesn't. Josh gets to go up a mountain, murder his girlfriend, and then leave cancer-free with no consequences, which annoyed me. Particularly as a big fan of, excuse me, I'm so poorly, a big fan of like Tales from the Crypt, where the bad guy always gets their comeuppance. It annoyed me. It annoyed me greatly, and I wasn't very happy about the ending of the movie. So I do not recommend this movie. I do not recommend this movie. If you're a vampire fan, it's rubbish, because there are no vampires. And if you're a general horror fan and you like seeing like bad guys get their comeuppance, then it's rubbish, because he doesn't. And they actually reference Buffy in the movie. You can't do that. You can't have somebody who was in Buffy and reference Buffy. No. No, 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 no. No. Finally, we're ending on a recommendation. The movie Boar. Now, this came out this year. It's a 2019 movie. And if you know who Nathan Jones is, he's a former WWE wrestler. He's in the movie, and this is an Australian horror movie. I love Australian horror movies. I love Australian movies, because Australian movies, I think they're very underrated. But Australian horror movies in particular, oh, just so good. It's about a family who are being hunted by a giant boar in the Australian outbacky type area, and it's a giant boar. Now, I will say this, the boar does not look good. So they utilise the let's only show the boar in the dark technique, or the giant mechanical boar standing still. So the boar doesn't look great, but the actors are just excellent. Like, there's so much heart in the movie, and there's so much, you really like the characters, and you really like rooting for them. So I don't want to go too spoilery on the plot. That's basically all you need to know. If you like animal horrors, I know before I said like my favourite horror genre is like teen slasher, but also I'd forgotten giant animal horror movies where something is a giant animal and it's coming to get you. Love them, and if you're a fan of these, you will love this. Also, other Australian horror movies that you need to check out if you've not seen them. Rogue, it's a giant crocodile movie, and it's excellent. It's got Radha Mitchell in it, and Michael Vernon. Very good. Very, very, very good movie. My absolute all-time favourite giant crocodile movie, and it's an Australian. Another Australian horror movie you need to check out is Wolf Creek, if you've not seen that. That is a slasher. Disturbing. Very disturbing. They've just done a series on Shudder, which I don't recommend because it's expensive and it's got very few titles on it. But we could always do a video on that another day. And there is another Australian horror movie about crocodiles, which I don't recommend, which is Blackwater, which came out the same year as Rogue, which I think was actually, I've got it on iTunes, so I don't know why I'm not just looking up Rogue. Blackwater came out the same year, and it's about two girls who get lost in mangrove swamp and are chased by crocodiles. And the crocodile footage is all real crocodiles that were filmed at a zoo, and you can tell that they were all filmed completely separately and not at all near the actual actresses, because it's very poor. Very poor. Yeah, this is Rogue's 2008, and it is the same director as Wolf Creek. Michael Vartan, not Michael Vernon. God, I'm an idiot. Directed by Graham McLean, who directed Wolf Creek. Highly, highly recommend that one. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. If you were watching it later, I still thank you. I appreciate every single view. And I realised that running out of data has like somewhat scuppered my upload schedule. But it renews on the 27th, so yay! So yes, please remember to like and subscribe if you're not already. If you want to always watch me live, you need to hit the notification bell and it'll tell you when I'm live streaming. And hopefully, I'll see you next time.